Welcome, testing. Well, a very good afternoon from the Perth Hockey Stadium. It is round 2 of the Premier 1's grade, and today we see WASPS, or Wesley South Perth Hockey Club, taking on.
And I think it was a pretty big wake-up call for our group, but I think just get around the boys, we'll go down, we'll put the work in on the training track, but recreating that culture off the field is really critical for our group. When we're having fun, we play well, so that's probably the key thing for our group. If we can make sure that's happening, I reckon we'll give ourselves a good chance, and we'll just continue building on the field. It's a massively long season, it'll be too long in many people's eyes, so yeah, we'll just move through it, and hopefully the level of play will continue to get better.
Well, you've got a new coach in 2019 in Dean Evans. How has that changed things from a team perspective?
Dean's great. He's come down, he's provided a whole range of new ideas. He's obviously an exceptional hockey brain. He was an exceptional player in his day, as I'm sure everyone here is aware, or everyone listening is aware. So having him down, the knowledge that he imparts onto every single level of skill level and age group in our team's massive. So it's a real great coup for the club to get him involved. And yeah, we're no doubt hanging on his every word at the moment, and can't wait to play for him for this whole year.
You said before, obviously, that there needs to be a little bit of fun in there, but I'm sure the team also needs a little bit of steel to get to the top again after the disappointment of the past couple of seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a pretty experienced group now, with a few young kids as well, but losing finals, it hurts a lot. So the ability to come back out and fight again and try and give yourself another chance is really important. And I think that the disappointment of losing, firstly to Uni 2 years ago, then last year to Reds, and we lost 2 games in a row, the other one to YM, it still stings. I think a lot of the guys think about it regularly. So we'll be really pushing hard and trying to do the best we can, and hopefully that leads us all the way.
Which teams do you see as being the major threat to preventing you getting a premiership in 2019?
It's a pretty even competition. I think the availability of players this year is going to be massive. The Australian players dictate a lot, as we all saw last year. But, I mean, Aquinas, the reigning premiers, they have 3 of the top players in the competition. So if they're all available, they're very strong. YM with Eddie and Tyler, and you never know what Jamie's going to do. But then Hale have a raft of really good young talent, Freo, Uni. They're probably my 3 big ones, Hale, Freo, Uni. I think they're going to be the ones to beat for the competition. And if we can challenge them, I think we'll be doing pretty well, and we can see what happens at the end of the year.
Well, we hope you train hard, but you also have a bit of fun during the season. And anyway, all the best.
Thanks very much, certainly will.
So that was Cale Walsh from WASPS. Now, unfortunately, Cale is not going to be playing today for his club because he's away with the state under-18s as part of the coaching setup there. As we now, though, turn our attention to the team lineups for both of these teams. And players I think you need to look out for today for WASPS, well, you'd think their Australian players are going to be a key. Matthew Swan wearing number 6, also Trent Mitten wearing number 11. But I also believe there are a few young players to look out for. Dylan Deere wearing number 16 is one that the club has big raps on. Murray McIntyre coming off the bench, of course, has been going forever. 425 games so far played, and this will be his 526th. Now, Jamie Walsh as well, the brother of Cale, he'll be back, so that's good news for them. But there's no Rainey, no Carl Brand, and no Brandon Gibbs, so they're key players normally for WASPs. If we turn our attention to Old Guildford, well, we've just been told Tom Craig is a late withdrawal, suffering food poisoning, so he will not be playing today. And also Will Batistessa is another player missing for them, who's scored a fair few goals for them last season. He has a meniscus tear in pre-season, and we wish him a speedy recovery from that. But players, again, that I think you need to look out for. Jacob Anderson has been in good form for the Kookaburras in the Pro League, and he'll be looking to continue his goal-scoring ways. Their player coach, Tim Bates, wearing number 15, will also be an important contributor for them today. One of the young guns is Carl Pinto, wearing number 7, and their captain for today is Aaron O'Byrne, wearing number 5. So a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of Aaron O'Byrne. Well, the coaches on the sidelines today will be Dean Evans for WASPS, and Tim Bates, as I mentioned, is player coach, but it will be, in fact, his team manager will be Will Batistessa. The umpires for this match, I'm pleased to say Matthew Claxton will have one whistle, and making his debut as an umpire today, and that is Josh Belts, one of the Kookaburras, originally, of course, from Tasmania, who's had a bad run of injuries in the last few years, but hopefully he's over all that now and can get a good run in the green and gold of Australia. So we're about a minute and a half away from the start of this match, and as I mentioned, it was a really tough first outing for both these teams. WASPs lost their opening match to Melville 3-7. Paul Robertson scoring, Matthew Swan and Lewis Barrett. And then Old Guildford, they went down 7-1 against Curtin Uni, with Sebastian Hood scoring their 1 goal. So both of them will be wanting to tighten up their defence today. They'll be both hoping they can find a few goals as well when they go on the attack. It should be a fairly open game, and it should be a game with some goals in it. So hopefully you'll stay with us throughout. I'm Ashley Morrison, and I'm looking forward to sharing all the action with you on a beautiful day here at Curtin University. It's not too warm. There's a nice little breeze just blowing across the pitch from gold from right to left. And the sun shining, not a cloud in the sky at the beautiful Perth Hockey Stadium. Well, WASPs lost the second semi-final in 2018, and they will be disappointed about that, as we heard from Cale Walsh. They'll be wanting to go all the way this year. Old Guildford, well, they finished 7th on the ladder in 2018, and they'll be looking to try and finish a little bit higher this time around and maybe force their way into the finals. Both teams just going through their final warm-ups. Gives me a chance to acknowledge our sponsors who make this live stream possible. First of all, FMG, the new force in iron ore. Ausdrill, bringing more into mining. Danks Furniture, who are proudly Western Australian. The Danks Difference, quality home furniture. And then there's Tiger Turf, 3 different systems, unfilled, dressed and filled. And of course, Kookaburra, hockey's #1 partnership. We do ask you to support these sponsors wherever possible because they are making the live stream of the games in 2019 possible. And we thank them for their support. Well, the players making their way over to the side. The umpires are ready down below us. Josh Belt sporting a rather nice looking cap. Looks like he should be on the golf course rather than down there umpiring. But he is always very well turned out. As the toss of the coin taking place down below us. Brynda Bez, the captain for Wasps today. So Wasps in their familiar gold and black. And Old Guildford in their blue and white. Both teams looking fairly relaxed at the moment. And they'll be hoping that they can get a good start into this match. One final huddle at the moment from the Wasps players. Some key players for them missing at the moment, but they'll be hoping that they can perform today. At the moment, there's only Fremantle who have a 100% record and are currently sitting top of the ladder. But of course, other games today, teams that were victorious in the opening round were Curtin, Westside Wolves and Melville. Melville play Curtin University today, and Westside Wolves play UWA, so we'll have to wait and see. Vic Park yesterday played a 2-2 draw with Old Aquinians, coming back from 2-0 down, showing great spirit. So those two teams remain unbeaten, but obviously dropping 2 points. So Old Guildford making their way out. And Wesley just making sure they've got all the players that are due to start. And now they make their way onto the turf as well. As I mentioned, good to see the number 9, Jamie Walsh, back. He was out with an Achilles injury most of last season, having snapped it the year before, and it'll be very good to be back out there playing. That's a very bad injury. Well, the bad news, if you are an Old Guildford fan, is in the last 2 years they've been unable to beat Wasps. Can they do it today? It will be Old Guildford to get the match underway. Just waiting for the officials. Plenty of encouragement coming from the various players. Just waiting for the technical bench. The whistle goes and Guildford get us underway. Going straight to the air. Long aerial pass from the player coach, Tim Bates. Just flicking that one forward. Joe Robinson. And Jamie Walsh in the heart of the defence for Wasps. There's plenty of movement forward from the Wasps players, but Guildford shadowing well. That was good work by Lachlan Sampson. Played out wide, but Miles Cale dispossessed. And now a chance for Guildford, carried forward by Anderson. In it goes. That's caught a foot of somebody. So penalty corner's given. It's, I think, deemed to have come off the foot of Joe Robinson. Got a Guildford player down though. There's again a fairly direct route coming from Tim Bates into the circle. I think it's actually the captain, Aaron O'Byrne, who's in a bit of trouble at the moment. Yes, it is. Back on his feet now, which is good news. Aaron O'Byrne, who played for the Northern Territory back in 2013 in the Australian Hockey League. Originally, though, hails from Queensland. He is the man they're looking to use from the penalty corner. Alongside him is Anderson. So, well, played in before the whistle, or was it one of the runners went too soon? Josh bounced onto it very quickly. And yeah, one of the runners going too early. I think it was Brindle Bez, so he will go to halfway, and Wasps will be a defender down. So a really good chance now for Guildford to open the scoring. And in fact, it's Bates who swept that one in, but he just got it the wrong side of the post. So the coach not far away to open the scoring. Came up off the stick of Anderson. He felt he should have got a free hit because it was pretty lively and high as it was played towards him. I tend to agree with him. But Wasps now coming forward. Good pass to the baseline. They're into the circle, looking to play it across the line and flick towards goal by Brindle Bez, but well positioned was the goalkeeper, Jason Lockett. Just let it go into his chest. Wasps, though, still on the attack, looking to try and get around the baseline. And again, Lockett just making sure that goes off his pads, right by his near post again. Joel Mitten, the player, on the far side, as Swan over the ball now, plays it to Trent Mitten. Into the circle it goes, and trying to create some space. Shot on a very acute angle, this time from Lachlan Sampson. Goes into the side netting. So Tim Ranstead gives it back to Bates. Bates was looking to play that into the space ahead of Anderson. Jamie Walsh flicking that one long, needed to be watched all the way, brought down very well on the reverse stick by Ranstead. Ranstead, of course, with Theo Gummery, just the only two players that are still playing that won promotion in 2009. Guildford's 10th year in the top flight. Just kept in play there by Dylan Deere. Deere taking his time, goes to Swan eventually. Swan always busy. Pierce playing that one infield, again picked up and by Deere. He's had to battle to keep possession, and in the end he's the player penalised for obstructing the tackler with his stick. So Bates now self passes, lovely pass. Unfortunately Anderson couldn't get it under control. So lively start at the moment. Neither team in the first 5 minutes really got an ascendancy as yet. Guildford trying to find a way down the right-hand side. James Norton just stopped, but the ball will be Guildford's from the side. Wasps getting numbers back. Swan tracking back and making sure that Pierce Painter didn't get a clear run round the baseline. And the long corner is won by Painter off the stick of Swan. In fact, a free hit has been given. A good break forward now, McIntyre. Well, this is one-on-one, a really good chance for Trent Mitten. Mitten, he's got there, that's the opening goal. Mitten just goes around Jason Lockett, and it was a beautiful pass into the path of Trent Mitten by Murray McIntyre, and Wasps have the lead, and that would be just what they wanted at this point in the game. So just 6 minutes gone, and the perfect start. And that's another good pass, just flicked over the top. Jack Longren in a little bit of space, looks to lay it towards the penalty spot. Picked up by Swan, top of the circle, good save from Lockett. Rebound came back to Swan. Lockett again, this time kicks it into his teammate, and we have a penalty corner for Wasps. So Wasps just lifting the tempo after that opening goal. And now they'll be hoping that they can get a second from the penalty corner. So the conversation continues, and then to the baseline goes Brynda Bez to inject. Trent Mitten waits at the first battery. Comes out, goes to Mitten. Mitten and Swan. Well, a slight mix-up. Swan shoots and lifted it a little bit too high. So Guildford will be relieved about that. And you may have noticed that the Guildford players are wearing a black armband. We've just been advised that that is for Sebastian Hood's girlfriend's uncle who passed away. So our commiserations go out to her family and everybody close to the deceased. But Guildford on the attack, great ball to the back post and almost just tucked under the keeper by Anderson. But that was really good goalkeeping by James Richardson. Got enough on it to deflect it over the baseline for a long corner. We've got two balls on the pitch. Tim Bates over the ball for the long corner now for Guildford, who are looking for that equaliser as we're halfway through the first quarter. Deflected up again at the top of the circle, and it'll be another long corner. It was off the stick of Joe Robinson. So once again, player coach Bates, he's got movement on the left-hand side, looking to turn and find a way in. Goodbye O'Byrne, and well, it's gone in, but the whistle had already gone by Josh Belts before the ball was struck towards goal. I think the umpires are going to confer here, but the whistle had definitely gone before the shot was taken. So the penalty corner, which was the decision given by Josh Belts, will stand, and Old Guildford will have to try and score from that. But O'Byrne really disappointed that his goal is not going to count. But the whistle had gone. So as a little bit of a hush comes across the crowd down below us. As once again we see Tim Bates at the first battery. Aaron O'Byrne at the second. Goes to Bates, didn't have a lot of pace on it, deflected, it's gonna dribble in. So Bates, well, I think everyone's giving him the congratulations. He will claim the goal. Not sure if there was a touch on the way through though. But the good thing is for Old Guildford is they're back on level terms. And that will make them feel a little bit better, especially as they were denied a goal by the whistle of Josh Belts, who'd already issued a penalty corner when O'Byrne managed to get the ball past Richardson. So we're all level again. Both teams have it all to do once more. Misplaced pass going behind Joel Mitten. Tim Bates involved in everything. Relocated to Perth in 2009, originally from Tivoli near Ipswich in Queensland. Lovely receive and attacking run from Brynda Bez. Good defence though coming back from Guildford, and that was clever play coming from Pearce. I thought it came off the foot, and a little bit physical there from Bryn de Bez. And not happy about it was Cooper Prunster. Now, Prunster, in my opinion, was fairly bundled off the ball. Jamie Walsh. And the long corner just coming off the old Guildford stick. Joel Mitten plays it back. Pearce now. Little break for Wasps. Into the circle it goes, but unfortunately Travis College just couldn't pull it back far enough for a deflection towards goal, so it'll be 16 for old Guildford. Back to enter the final 5 minutes of the first quarter. Ricochet's up in the air, and allowed to bring it down is Theo Gummery. His pass is along the baseline, but just too much zip on the pass, and it ran out of play. Theo Gummery, one of the players who came from Geraldton and joined the club when he came to Perth to study. There's a very strong Geraldton connection rather with old Guildford. And certainly they seem to be producing some players in that part of Western Australia. Comes wide now to Robinson. Robinson helps it down the line. It was unfortunately for Wasps between Trent Mitten and Bryn de Bez, and it's going to roll out of play. So Bates again. Good pass into the path of O'Byrne. O'Byrne goes past Walsh. O'Byrne continues a mazy run. Was that a stick check inside the circle? This time Josh Belts a little bit more hesitant, just seeing what was going to happen before he blew his whistle. And in the end he gives a penalty corner again, but O'Byrne causing several problems with his mazy run and good close control on his stick. It's a third penalty corner now for Guildford. Scored from the last one. Can they score this time around? Tim Ranstead goes to the baseline to inject. Bates and O'Byrne at the top of the circuit. Goes to Bates, and it's gone a long, long way wide that time. Richardson not worried at all. And Wasps look to play on quickly. Pearce goes infield to Swan. Swan, lovely little touch, takes him away from Bates. Pushes it out onto the left-hand side. And that will be collected right along the baseline by Paul Robertson. Good pass back into Joel Mitten. Mitten stopped at the edge of the circle. Trying to get it back was Robertson. Both teams quite happy to attack at the moment. Hard to say either's got control of the midfield, to be honest. It's been a bit scrappy in the middle of the pitch. Bryn de Bez looking to feed it to Deere. Anderson got enough just to take it over the side. Annoyed with himself. I think he wanted to bring it under control and then mount a counter-attack of his own. Sliding across and playing that one out over the side was Liam Woodward. Oh, and another good mazy run into the circle, and it's going to be, oh, well, the shot eventually coming in on the reverse stick from Lachlan Sampson. Good run along the baseline, though. Creating the opportunity. Ricocheted up in the air again, deemed dangerous. Free hit to old Guildford. Pretty much halfway between the 23-metre line and the halfway line. And we're going to see a team take the lead before the first break. Bates self-passes, pushes the ball out wide. Down the line it goes. Did take a slight deflection off Robertson, but then collected by O'Byrne. O'Byrne wins a free hit for old Guildford. Bates steps forward again. Down the line it goes, and Swan just steps across and plays it over the sideline. Certainly very measured attacking. That's just dinked onto the foot of Paul Robertson. So another free hit to Old Guildford, eating up time, but keeping the ball in that final third. Laid back now deep to James Norton. Good pass from him, found Prunster. Prunster's up it goes, and be a free hit. It was off the stick, just outside the circle. So went up off the Wasps stick, so free hit as it was deemed dangerous once it went into the circle. Norton again looking to slide that one into the circle. Been picked up well at the edge of the D by Painter. Stolen by Pearce. Pearce, that's a really good pass. Picks out the runner, Murray McIntyre. McIntyre's being forced wide. He's got Mitten at the back post. McIntyre looks for him. Mitten waited for his run, and Mitten fires that home. And the two players that combined for Wasps' first goal combined for their second goal as Trent Mitten scores and takes Wasps back into the lead. But McIntyre so unselfish with his pass. So Wasps 2, Old Guildford 1 in the final minute of the first quarter. And it was just clever play by Trent Mitten. He was running at the back post. The defender kept running. He stopped. McIntyre looked up and he picked him out. And he just fired home. And now there's trouble again at the back as the touch, though, luckily for Guildford, wasn't a good one from Robertson. Otherwise, he would have been around Lockett and just had a clean goal to push the ball into. Now the players know the ball's gone out of play. The hooter goes, and that is the end of the first quarter. And it's been a really great first quarter if you're looking for goals, because we've had 3 of them. Trent Mitten opening the scoring in the 6th minute for Wasps. And then Tim Bates getting an equaliser for Old Guildford before Mitten stole the lead back for Wasps in the final minute. Well, we'll take a break here and then we'll be back with all the action in the second quarter. Now the umpires already taking up their position in the centre of the turf. 30 seconds to go in the 2-minute break between quarters. The first time they've played quarters here in the men's Premier Grade in Western Australia, of course in line with the FIH rule change at the start of 2019. Just 5 minutes though for half time, just to make sure that the games can get through them fairly quickly. Gerrans is doing the coaching duties down below for Old Guildford. Just encouraging some of the younger players that they've got in their side. Now the whistle goes and Guildford get the second quarter underway. Can they find an equaliser again? You do feel there are more goals in this match. Desperation coming there from Lachlan Sampson. Ball runs through to Brindabez. Sampson comes back and helps him out, and it goes back to Joe Robinson. Walsh calling for the ball from Robinson, pushes it into the path of Pearce. Pearce did well to get the pass away to Joel Mitten. Joel Mitten looking to push that one into the circle. He's picked out a teammate. Wow, the deflection was a good one. It comes back. Oh, my word. Trent Mitten has a hat-trick. Well, it wasn't cleared by Guildford, and they paid a heavy price. Trent Mitten has a hat-trick in 17 minutes. And it was just a real melee in front of goal. Good save initially by Lockett, but the defence were not there to clear the danger. And the ball rebounded to Trent Mitten, who just lifted it into the net. And so it is 3-0 now to Wasps. 3-1, sorry. So Guildford, who looked dangerous when they were coming forward in that first quarter, going to need to get some cohesion going again. O'Byrne dispossessed. He's been the spark, dribbling into the circle. Over the side it goes. Anderson leaves it behind. Comes to Ransted. Ransted helps it forward in turn to Jamie Roljic. Roljic looking for the return pass. It was just a little bit too far ahead of him. Roljic, who originally comes from Port Hedland. And a miscommunication again around the edge of the circle by Guildford. Sees Wasps steal the ball, and a free hit won by Sam Gillis. Well read by Swan, but one back by Anderson, and a free hit to Anderson. He plays on quickly. Goes into the hand of Sam Gillis. Gillis wringing his knuckles, and Mitten bursting forward. Chased by Anderson, but he still gets the pass away, and it's a good one into the path of Lachlan Sampson, although as he tried to play it back to Mitten, missed the ball completely. He's got it back and now finds Mitten. Mitten, lovely skills, takes him into the circle. Lockett saves, ricochets back, and oh, he had no right to score from there, but Trent Mitten somehow managed to get that one in. Well, it was James Norton who was trying to clear it inside the D as it came back off the pads of Lockett, but Mitten was the first to pounce, and Trent Mitten has a 4th goal. So too do Wasps. It has been incredible seeing how all the Kookaburra players seem to have been scoring goals in the opening 2 rounds of the Premier Grade here in Western Australia. Of course, the Australian Institute of Sport based in Western Australia, so the cream of the Australian crop playing in the league when there aren't internationals. Swan, unfortunately, just too far ahead of a desperate Paul Robertson. And of course, the interesting thing will be when these players go away for the FIH Pro League matches in Europe. They will be playing their last game in Oceania on Anzac Day against New Zealand in Auckland. And I shall actually be commentating that, so we will have Michael Holland who will be stepping into my shoes and doing the commentary for you for those games. Michael will be a part of the team for 2019. And we hope that you will enjoy listening to him describing all of the action from the Perth Hockey Stadium. Those good skills in centre field. Possession's been lost again, but it will be won back. That's lost again. Swan is everywhere at the moment. And he just tried to push that one into the path of Murray McIntyre. Might have been able to change direction a few years ago, but the legs not quite as nimble as they used to be. Mitten, though, drives towards goal again. Off the pads it comes. The rebound, well, looked as if it was going to come back nicely for Paul Robertson, but good defence in the end from Woodward. Took it away from the circle. Guildford now looking to counter-attack quickly. The ball with Anderson. Well, they've got numbers coming back, and Swan, though, again, just getting there ahead of the ball as it was played towards Anderson, and just making sure he stole it back for Wasps. Travis College now picks out Mitten. Mitten looks up. There's a good run into the D from McIntyre. Looks to slide that pass through. McIntyre, those dispossessed Bates, top of the circle. McIntyre plays the square pass, and Mitten receiving the ball in the end from Gillis. Gillis looking to get the ball back. Good defence, though, coming from Pierce Painter. It's been won back, though, by Trent Mitten. And then a good defence once more from James Norton this time, just taking it away from Mitten. But Gillis has got it back for Wasps. This time he's just going to try and stretch the Guildford players. Goes back to halfway. Robinson just calming things down, trying to draw the Guildford players out of their defensive zone and create some space for the Wasps attackers. And that was just too far ahead of Travis College, and he knew the minute the ball was played, he wasn't going to get there. So right in the corner now, James Norton. In fact, leaves it for Tim Bates. Free hit was taken by Bates from the wrong spot, so he's going to have to go back. Bates followed all the way by McIntyre. Down the line they go. Swan is there once more just to take the ball away from Ben Milne. Swan again closed down by Milne. Just a shimmy of the hips from Matthew Swan, and suddenly he gets the space and plays the ball forward to McIntyre. McIntyre into the circle it goes. And it comes off Swan. It'll eventually break for Milne, who hit that one up the park. And it will go out of play for a 16. Richardson out of goal, just kicks it forward for Dylan Deere. Swan says, I'll have that, ahead of Joel Mitten. And another good pass now into the path of Miles Cale. Cale just looking to lay it back. Good defence, though, coming from Bates. Pressure, though, too much from Wasps, and Joel Mitten self passes. Flicks it into the circle. It's a mistrap, though. And it just caught the foot of Lachlan Sampson. It's a good spell of pressure from Wasps. Certainly they've started the second quarter really well. 2 goals in 2 minutes from Trent Mitten to add to his 2 in the first quarter. Tim Bates, he's been head coach of Guildford for the last 2 years. Tries to carry it forward, runs out of space, goes over the side himself. Miles Cale decides to leave it behind. Jamie Walsh coming on for Swan, says, I'll take it. Good work from Bryn DeBez. DeBez just dropping the ball back and gets the pass back, and into the foot it goes of Tim Ranstead, and a penalty corner to Wasps. So their second penalty corner of the match. And they'll be hoping that they can get another goal here. It'd be really good for Wasps if they could remove that 4-goal deficit that they had from the opening game of the season. So making his way to the baseline is Miles Cale to inject. Pierce waits at the top of the D, and alongside him is Jamie Walsh. Pierce at the first battery, Walsh at the second. Pierce looks the favoured option. It does in fact go to him. He sweeps it low, saved by Lockett and swept away by Gummery. Pierce looking to deflect it into the circle, but it'll break for Bryn DeBez. DeBez tried to play a tricky little pass, but it was well intercepted. Good defensive play coming from Armstrong Bosey. And now it's Pinto. Pinto, who is a young player with a lot of raps on him at the moment. Just dispossessed with a really good tackle coming in from Lachlan Sampson. Cooper Prunster playing the short pass, and now O'Byrne. Kale Walsh said they'd worked a little bit harder at training in the past week, and it appears they have, as Mitten steals the ball again, bears down on Lockett, and that's an easy finish in the end. And it is another goal for Wasps. And that makes it 5-0. So unselfish this time from Trent Mitten, as he just popped the ball forward into the path of Miles Kale. And Miles Kale gets the 5th for Wasps, as they now lead 5-1 with just under 4.5 minutes left until half-time. You just wonder, is there a way back for Old Guildford at the moment? Miles Kale, his nickname is The Bull. Not quite sure why, but didn't really have to go charging too hard to get that goal. It was well placed by Mitten, a good pass by him. And Guildford just playing it over the baseline. Given away, but De Bez just stealing it back off Sebastian Hood. Just a heavy touch from him. Didn't bring it under control immediately. That's a very good pass from the side from Piers Painter, playing it infield to Space and James Norton. But unfortunately, his pass further forward just going out of play on the far side. It wasn't able to be kept in play by Ben Milne. Ben Milne, who started his hockey at Ellenbrook Falcons and then moved to Old Guildford. And is that another goal? I think it is indeed, yes. Well, it's just one-way traffic at the moment. Trent Mitten, not sure he got the final touch. To me, I thought it was Robertson got the last touch, but we'll wait and see. Maybe at half-time, but Robertson, I thought, got the final touch on that one. So it is 6-1 now, and what a second quarter it's been for Wasps. Well, Guildford, as I said, is there a way back for them? Just losing his stick was Gummery. And another break forward, Robertson now. Robertson hangs on to the ball, a little slip defensively from Armstrong Bosey. Good call from Jamie Walsh. Good work now in the midfield coming from Seb Hood. But the free hit goes the way of Wasps. We're in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Walsh picks out Mitten. Mitten on the reverse stick, though, is off target. It's about the first time we've had to say that today. Trent Mitten just firing high and wide. Well, you would think Dave Gerrans and Tim Bates are really going to have to get around their team at half-time to get them to regroup and find a way back into this match. Looked good at the end of the first quarter, where they just conceded late in that quarter to go down 2-1. Having come back to level things up at 1 apiece as Robertson comes forward, played it off the foot of Ranstead, gets the ball off the ricochet. Anderson coming back to steal it back for Guildford, finds Ranstead. And Anderson again. And Ranstead annoyed with himself as he mistrapped wide on the left-hand side. While stepping out from defence was Woodward this time. He's got a little bit of space. Woodward managed to get around Joel Mitten, but we'll get the ball back now. Prunster, but his pass goes straight to Swan, and now chance to counter-attack as Swan looks to feed it through to McIntyre. Just clipping the foot, complaint from Prunster, but it will be a free hit. Affected the path of the ball as it was played forward in towards McIntyre. Joel Mitten now, can he get on the score sheet? Just caught the back of the stick as he tried to play it on the reverse. It just bobbled up, and that will be the last play of the first half. And what a first half it's been for Wasps. Well, they opened the scoring in the first quarter in the 6th minute. Trent Mitten scoring there. Bates got an equaliser for Old Guildford, and then Trent Mitten scored again in the 15th, the 17th and the 19th minute. And we'll get confirmation, but Cale Mars getting the 5th goal for Wasps, and I believe it was Paul Robertson who got the 6th goal. So at half-time, it is Wasps 6, Old Guildford Mundaring 1. Well, welcome back to the Perth Hockey Stadium, where it is Wasps 6, Old Guildford 1, and I can confirm that Trent Mitten did in fact get that 6th goal. There was no touch from Robertson. So Trent Mitten has 5 goals, and he's 3 goals away from a record in a Premier Grade match, which was set in 1977. And I must thank Murray McIntyre from WASPS, who has been playing long enough that he remembers that. Apparently it was West versus Southwest. So Trent Mitten just 3 goals away from a record. Can he get those in the second half? Well, we'll have to wait and see. So he scored all bar 1, and it's going to be interesting to see how old Guildford Mundaring react in the start of the second half. Not surprisingly, they're a little bit slow to make their way out onto the turf. Wasps already there, ready to get the second half underway. Just jogging down to his goal is Jason Lockett, goalkeeper for old Guildford. Not much he could have done with most of the goals that Trent Mitten has slotted past him. Certainly the last goal from Trent Mitten, he put so much pace on it, just wasn't sure whether there was a touch. Looking at the celebrations, it seemed as if Mitten was getting the credit, and I hope he will forgive me for thinking that maybe there had been a touch before it crossed the line. But here they come again through Bryn Debez. Debez plays it in at the back post, sliding in, this time just wide from Trent Mitten. And I can confirm it was in fact Lockie Sampson who got the goal, not Miles Cale. So my apologies that I'm robbing some of these players of goals happening so fast. So it was indeed Sampson with the 5th goal for Wesley. The Bears just having to check back as the pass from Swan behind him and missed at the top of the circle by Miles Cale. Brought down by Joe Robinson. Plenty of space for Miles Cale. Goes back to Robinson, back to Cale. To the baseline. Kept in play. Sliding it across the face of goal. Mitten missed at the first attempt. Fires it into the keeper. Comes back to Trent Mitten again. And good save from Lockett. And it'll go out over the side. So Jason Lockett well placed that time. Joel Mitten comes back now to Jamie Walsh. Slaps it across to the far side. Wasps still on the attack, but the pass back just not coming off from Dylan Deere. Dylan Deere, who made his debut this year. He's a boarding master at Wesley at the moment, but a product of the Southwest Academy of Sport. Down around the Bustleton, Boyup Brook area, which is really producing a lot of very talented players, both male and female at the moment. So Wasps getting possession back once more. Off the stick it goes of the Guildford player, so Wasps ball from the side. Joel Mitten accelerating down the left-hand side. He's looking to feed that into Miles Cale. Goes off the stick of Trent Mitten, so it will be a 16 for old Guildford, and not surprisingly taking their time. Good to hear plenty of encouragement still coming from their bench. Ransted. Ransted looked to go infield and was closed out. Swan, lovely steal by him, feeds it into Mitten. Swan continues his run, gets the ball back from Mitten. Back to Mitten, it goes across the face of goal. And there is another goal for Wasps, and Trent Mitten involved once more. But it was Swan who stole possession, fed it to Mitten, and then Mitten getting the return pass, and eventually the ball going across the face of goal for the easiest of tap-ins in the end, and Sampson getting his 2nd goal of the match. So it is now 7-1 to Wasps. They conceded 7 last week. They've scored 7 this week. And unfortunately for Old Guildford, they conceded 7 last week. And it's exactly the same scoreline at the moment. And we still have 10.5 minutes in the third quarter and another 15 after this. And you just wonder whether we're going to see Wasps get double figures. All eyes at the moment, though, on Trent Mitten, whether he can break a record that has stood for 42 years. Ball coming to Mitten. He lets it run to the back post, and there is another goal. Swept home from Duncan Pearce. And it was a brilliant dummy by Trent Mitten. Just letting that one run. And Pearce was unmarked behind him, just sweeping it home. Absolutely nothing that Lockett could do about that one. So it has been a really tough day at the office for Old Guildford as Gillis plays the ball forward. It's won back by Jacob Anderson. Coming in off the flank, he just miscontrolled that and then played into the foot of Piers Painter. Piers Painter, who toured Singapore with Guildford Grammar School back in 2015 and was voted the player of the tour. O'Byrne turns and accelerates forward, gives it to Anderson. O'Byrne continues his run. They're into the circle. Good turn. And a shot was a bit of a wild one, unfortunately, from Seb Hood. And the little push pass from Painter this time, going straight to Wasps. Gillis. Just again a little mistrap that time from Armstrong Bosey. Saw possession back. Gillis in a tight little tussle with Tim Bates, but got the decision. His pass though is picked out. Well read and anticipated. Brynda Bez under pressure from Pinto. Brynda Bez creates a little bit of space in the end and plays back into the defensive line. Joe Robinson. It's a little bit crowded there with Wasps players just strolling around. Gillis looking for the pass, but it was cut out again by Seb Hood. Trying to cut back infield. Tim Bates, he's created a bit of space for himself now. And that's a good pass forward, but just touching the foot of Ben Milne. Made his debut last week, Ben Milne. So maybe just finding how tough it is at the top. We're halfway through the third quarter. Again, a good anticipation coming across from Painter. And again, good defence from Wasps that time, anticipating and just stepping in front of the attacker. Good work from Dylan Deere. Dylan Deere, who was also tempted to join Wasps by Kyle Brown and Brent Dancer, who apparently were pestering him non-stop to switch allegiance. Gillis just getting the ball forward to Joel Mitten. Mitten goes infield and manages to beat College and Brynda Bez, but the ball will go out on the far side inside the 23 metres for Old Guildford. No high press coming from Wasps. Infield it comes. James Norton, short little pass from him. Armstrong Bosey goes back and pressure applied again by Miles Cale. Now that will be a Guildford free hit. The ball ricocheting up in the air off Jack Longrigan's stick and then creating the danger. Bates. Swan. Swan waving his stick around and missing completely, and penalty corner going the way of Guildford. Well, can they get a consolation goal now maybe it'll just be a case of trying to get what they can in the second half. So certainly James Richardson has not had too much to do in goal for Wasps in this match. Ranstead makes his way down to the baseline. Anderson looks to be stopping this time for Tim Bates. Alongside Bates is Seb Hood. Comes out, it's a mistrap. Play on is the call. Pearce, good pass forward from him. And that was lifted, but it came up off the stick as it was thrown. I think it was Ben Milne who threw his stick in, and as it was played forward by Dylan Deere, just ricocheted up into Milne's teammate. And here come Wasps again, holding the ball a long way ahead. Murray McIntyre, and the call for the ball to the baseline was a good one from Lachlan Sampson, but McIntyre put it there, but unfortunately Sampson turning, couldn't get it under control. And that pass for Anderson was asking a lot of the Kookaburra. So we're in the final 5 minutes now of the third quarter. Are we going to see any more goals before the final break? Robinson put under pressure by Pinto. And that's good pressure from Pinto because it saw possession given away, but it was won back again by Jamie Walsh. But Guildford have got it back once more, and unfortunately that pass just too far ahead of James Norton. It's one of those where the mind was willing but the legs weren't. Sliding in, trying to keep that in play with Sampson, but he couldn't. So the turn there from Armstrong Bosey as he plays the ball forward. It'll go harmlessly out for a 16, and Robinson comes across, looking to get on with things quickly for Wasps. Plays it out to the left-hand side. Joel Mitten in space. Robinson, and that's deflected out for a long corner. Wide on the right-hand side. Robinson takes it quickly. Pinto gives chase. Robinson tries to cut infield and gets the foul off Pinto. Just a little connection with his stick. And Trent Mitten inside the circle. Jamie Walsh looking up, sliding the pass in. Oh, Trent Mitten got the touch, but unfortunately for him, it went wide of the right-hand post of Jason Lockett's goal. A really good opportunity for Trent Mitten to get his 6th with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Remembering the magic number is 8 to break a record that has stood for 42 years in the competition over here in Western Australia for the most goals in a game, as Pearce breaks forward for Wasps. Looks to feed it out wide, finds McIntyre, into the circle it goes, trying to lay it to the back post, and eventually long corner. Good goalkeeping once more from Lockett. And into the circle come Wasps again, spinning. Well, I thought that might have actually caught the back of the stick, but umpires are letting play go. Robinson pushes it forward. Pearce dispossessed by Aaron O'Byrne. Swan will keep that in play and accelerates into the 23. Good tackle coming back from Seb Hood. John Mitten, short pass to Swan. Dylan Deere. Robinson helping it forward. Bryn de Beers dispossessed by Pinto. Just stepped in front of him. Good anticipation from Pinto. Pinto carrying it forward and drew the defender before releasing a good pass out to Gummery. Gummery back to Pinto. Pinto, though, well, Gummery kept it in play. Richardson in the end helped out by Deer, and Wasps have cleared the danger. Pinto still on his knees. Will be disappointed. It was a good break by him and good pass towards the circle, but good defence. Mitten, that's Trent, steals it back though for Wasps, and through the legs he goes, but eventually O'Byrne wins it back and plays the ball up the sideline and out of play. Tim Ranstead shouting encouragement before he comes back on. Joel Mitten just managing to find the foot of Seb Hood. Bryn de Beers cracks that one in, and for the first time in the match, probably miscommunication between Trent Mitten and Murray McIntyre. If Trent Mitten had let that run, it would have gone straight through to Murray McIntyre. A free hit again to Guildford. I'm sure they would have rather played on. In the final 10 seconds now of the third quarter. They just conceded 2 goals in this period. Long corner. I'm not sure they're going to get time to take it now. The hooter goes, and that is the end of the third quarter. It's been another good one for Wasps as they managed to get 2 more goals. Lachlan Sampson getting his second of the match, and also adding to their tally a goal coming from Duncan Pearce. So at the final break, it is Wasps 8, Old Guildford 1. Welcome back to the Perth Hockey Stadium. We're about to get the final quarter of this round 2 match of the men's Premier Grade underway. It is Wasps leading by 8 goals to 1 against Old Guildford Mundaring Hockey Club. And I'd just like to acknowledge the sponsors once again. Kookaburra Hockey's #1 partnership. Tiger Turf, 3 different systems, unfilled, dressed and filled, all meeting the FIH performance standards. And of course Danks Furniture, proudly West Australian. The Danks difference is quality home furniture. And Ausdrill bringing more to mining, and FMG, the new force in iron ore. These companies making the live stream of games in 2019 possible. The game, you feel, is 100% gone from the grasp of Old Guildford. Playing for pride. Can they win 1 quarter? That is the question. And that's what they've got to try and do as we get the final quarter underway. Wasps, of course, looking to really keep the pressure on and keep getting the goals. Trent Mitten looking for a record if it comes to him. I'm sure he wouldn't be looking for it intentionally, as it's a penalty corner awarded to Wasps. Just their 3rd of the match. That's a sign of a quality side if they manage to keep going and keep scoring goals when they've got the match won. Just discussing which routine they're going to go with. Jamie Walsh at the top of the circle. Alongside him, not surprisingly, Duncan Pearce. Pearce with 1 goal already today. Can he add a second? Out it comes. And it's Walsh, hits the post, rebounds back, and Brynda Bez, he was denied by a sharp save again by Lockett. Chance now, though, for old Guildford to break as the ball's with Anderson. Swan, though, lovely steal by him, and Anderson thought he'd clipped it onto the feet of Swan, but Swan kept going. And then, in the end, desperately coming back after getting a touch was James Norton. Swan, though, ever persistent, has won the ball back for Wasps again. Now it's Jamie Walsh deflected into the circle. Free hit, though, just outside, as I think it was off the foot. Of course, the ball must go the 5 metres. Nobody closing Walsh down as he looks to go into the baseline, then double back and find the foot, and he did really well. Aaron O'Byrne doesn't agree. I think he feels that that was a little bit tough, but it was brilliant play by Jamie Walsh. So, fourth penalty corner. On his haunches, Matthew Swan. Miles Cale makes his way to the baseline. So once again with Pearce at the first battery, Jamie Walsh at the second. There's a shift and it goes to Mitten. Mitten sweeps now. First runner does well. And it's going to dribble in behind as it... No, it's a good save in the end from Lockett. Lockett did really well to deny Pearce as Mitten's first attempt was run down. The ball ricocheted to Pearce. And Lockett with a good save. It will break for Mitten this time. He had a shot and it's a player gone down in a lot of pain. I think it's Liam Woodward. And certainly good to see he's back on his feet, even if it is struggling. And he's going to be helped from the pitch, not even carrying his stick. Well, it's good that he's getting a little bit of weight now on his leg. Well, hopefully that just is going to need a little bit of ice on it and the pain will ease. It was a pretty loud squeal as the ball hit him, as you can expect, because the ball was really travelling. And it is indeed Liam Woodward who has just taken his place in the dugout. Free hit taken by Guildford. 13.5 minutes left. Mitten all stick. Brynda Bez looks to try and feed it back to Mitten. It came off the foot though of Tim Bates, so free hit to Wasps. They get on with it quickly. Brynda Bez again, get the ball from Jamie Walsh. Walsh a little shimmy, looks to feed it back to DeBez, but stepping out was Norton. Norton stole it well and now dribbles up to halfway, feeds it to Pinto. Pinto looking for options. A good lead coming in the end from Jacob Anderson. Anderson trying to get the better of Robinson. Anderson slips. He will get the free hit. And Anderson was still going, and Pearce has been penalised just outside the circle. He's saying that hadn't gone the 5 metres. The umpire saying that he was in the 5 metres when he made the tackle. Ball left behind. O'Byrne, well, that... And now, Miles Cale chasing hard. Mitten inside him. He cracks it to Trent Mitten. Didn't get the touch he wanted. Mitten, top of the circle. Mitten, well, there's another goal. So Trent Mitten now has 6 goals in the match, and Wasps have 9. And Mitten just allowed too much space at the top of the circle. It was almost the miss hit that worked in his favour as the pass came in from Miles Cale. So we've still got 12 minutes left. So Trent Mitten now with 6 goals. Just hoping if there is a 10th goal that our numbering can go into double figures. I have to say, we've never had a game that we've covered where we've gone into double figures. As now Swan comes forward. Mitten again with a good run up ahead. Goes back to Swan. Mitten lurking around the penalty spot. Swan creates a little bit of space. Into the circle it goes and hit high by Lachlan Sampson, and it will be danger. So free hit to Guildford. Well, it must be tough to keep going. Last week was 7-1, this week 9-1. Still 11 minutes to go. Of course, Old Guildford missing Tom Craig, who would have been a major component for them today. Apparently smitten with food poisoning. So carried forward by Bates. Oh dear, he's dispossessed by Mitten. Mitten is surging forward. Mitten just Lockett to beat Mitten, and Lockett this time gets his pads there and denies Mitten scoring a 7th goal. Swan again involved. Swan continuing to go. Low centre of gravity. He just keeps going. Looks to lay the ball back. It's swept clear. Anywhere will do for Old Guildford. Lockett trying to organise his defence in front of him. Moved from YMCC this year. Who actually originally hails from Kalgoorlie in the Goldfields. Saw an advert inviting players to come and try out hockey when he lived there, and went along and gave it a go. And the rest, they say, is history. So Norton leaving the ball behind for his coach, Tim Bates. Goes off the stick of Walsh. So Bates sliding that one forward. Swan will intercept again, edge of the circle, feeds it forward. And that's great running as well through the middle from Gillis. Gillis has got McIntyre one side, Mitten the other. He looks for Mitten, it comes to Mitten. Mitten forced wide. Mitten pulls it back, and that's gone, well, into Lockett again, and Lockett clears. Just wonder whether McIntyre might have been the better option for Sam Gillis. Lovely turn again by Trent Mitten. Releases it at the top of the circle, McIntyre. Well, he thought of going in, and then I think he thought it was a bit risky. There's no need when the score is 9-1 to put yourself in danger. So Joel Mitten. And he was really asking a great deal of Swan, but desperately coming back and keeping the ball in play well was Jack Longren. Longren plays it up the side, and College keeps it alive as now it's Deere. Very tight on that side, but Deere will come up with the ball for Wasps. Looks to go infield to Brynda Bez, but stolen back, and now pressure put on Roljic. A little bit of space now for Fletcher Wilson. Fletcher Wilson, who came in as a replacement for Tom Craig. The touch was there, but the ball will ricochet for Prunster. Prunster tumbles as he plays the ball forward to Milne. Milne closed down by College. And again, it's good defence from Wasps. And they play their way out from defence. McIntyre. That's going to take a hefty deflection off the heel. I think it was off the heel of O'Byrne. So free hit. And into the circle it goes. Well, Pearce was looking to take the free hit from the left-hand side. So Trent Mitten now gets play on from where it's meant to go, and ricochets galore. Up it goes inside the circle, penalty corner, as it came up off Cooper Prunster's stick this time. So no goals from penalty corners yet for Wasps. This will be their 5th penalty corner, as we have just over 6.5 minutes left. So Trent Mitten alongside Duncan Pearce. Pearce now moving to the second battery. Swan stopping for Mitten. College stopping for Pearce. Not sure if that little signal from College is saying it's going to go to Pearce. Doesn't. It goes to Mitten. Mitten sweeps. Mitten scores again. So that is the 10th goal of the match for Wasps. And it is the 7th goal for Trent Mitten. The first penalty corner converted by Wasps today. And Trent Mitten now with 7 goals in the match. Now I believe he needs one more, according to Murray McIntyre, to break the record from 1977. Or it may even be to equal it. So there were 8 goals scored in a match in 1977, according to Murray McIntyre. West versus Southwest. Trent Mitten is on 7 at the moment. Well, certainly his teammates are trying to help him out. And Trent Mitten closes in. I think he's putting pressure on everybody. Over the side it goes. So Brynn Bez, captain for today. Down the line he goes to Pearce. Pearce on the reverse stick, looks to feed it to Mitten at the top of the circle. Play back to Mitten. This time he's off target. Again, it was very unselfish play. I'm not sure what Trent Mitten said, but a smile on his face as he just turned around and had a joke with his teammates. Well, it'll be a great response by the players. Dean Evans will no doubt be pleased that the team have bounced back from that defeat last weekend against Melville, where Wasps lost 3-7. Mitten again stealing possession. Mitten feeds it now into the circle. Good save from Lockett. Comes off his line and helped out by his defence. Strong challenge though coming in from Lonrigan. Lonrigan gets the ball from the side. His pass isn't a good one. He gives possession straight back to old Guildford, but Milne under pressure. Managed to get a free hit. That's a good pass to Gummery. Gummery, though, being forced wide by Jamie Walsh. And Gummery, did he get a long corner? He did indeed. So O'Byrne plays it wide onto the left. Is there another goal for Guildford in this match? Not with a pass like that. Walsh could have probably had a little bit longer on the ball, but he just went safety first as we're approaching the final 4 minutes now of the match. Comprehensive victory to Wasps. Into the circle it goes, well, just top of the circle. Stolen by DeBez. Duncan Pearce is looking to play it into the path of the advancing Sampson. Sampson now feeds it to Trent Mitten. Trent Mitten into the circle. Lockett there, and he's got another. Well, Trent Mitten now has 8 goals, and that is, we believe, at least equaled the record. What an incredible display from Trent Mitten. And there's still just under 3.5 minutes left. And I think, judging from the fact that Trent Mitten is coming off, I think he knows he's probably broken the record. Maybe the record was 7 and Murray McIntyre giving him a hug. So maybe the record was 7 and he needed 3 goals to beat the record, because he just said, I'm coming off, I'm knackered. So it is a record, we believe, for Trent Mitten, one that stood since 1977. The most goals in a Premier League match in Western Australia. 8 goals to Trent Mitten. Well, you will not see that every day. And here's a chance for Anderson to get a consolation, but he puts it past the left-hand post of Richardson's goal. So Sampson with 2, Mitten with 8, Pearce with 1. And 11 goals for Wasps, and they're still coming. Ball played into the path of Dylan Deere. Dylan Deere looking for runners inside the D. There's nobody there, and in the end he just let the ball run away from his stick. Montgomery finds Anderson. Anderson dispossessed by Swan. Must know each other so well from training. And into the D it goes, and good goalkeeping again from Lockett. Off his line really quickly. Did well to close down not just Gillis, but also made Sampson go wide. And when you think as well the amount of saves that Jason Lockett has made to not just deny Trent Mitten, but also Murray McIntyre and other players, it could have been an even bigger score. Some wonderful finishing in the first half from Trent Mitten, and pretty good in the second too. We're in the final minute and 20 seconds as Pinto turns and tries to make his way into the circle. Looks to lay it back. Good defence again from Gillis. And over the side it goes. Wasps not wanting to concede anymore. They conceded one early in the first quarter from a penalty corner that tied things up at 1-1. Into the circle it goes again. That was a good strike coming from Norton. Norton steals it back. Anderson now advancing past Richardson. Up it goes off the keeper. Penalty corner for Guildford, and their fans finally have something to cheer about. A fifth penalty corner for Guildford. Can they, with 48 seconds left, get another consolation goal? Because that's all it will be. 2 goals for Wasps in the first quarter, 4 in the second, 2 in the third, and 3 in the third. He's making his way down to the baseline is Painter. Tim Bates at the second battery. With Anderson stopping the last time it was a mistrap. I'm sure they'll be hoping they can get it right this time. Out it comes. Anderson traps fairly central. Good save from Richardson, but the follow-up is a good one. And they have got that. James Norton finishing that one, so it will be 11-2 as Norton just following in and getting a goal from the penalty corner right in the last minute of the match. We said we thought there'd be goals today. Didn't think there'd be this many. Both teams conceding 7 last week, and we've got another 13 goals this weekend between these two teams. I think the defensive coaches, though, will be a little bit worried. So Swan lifting it up in the air. It'll be brought down. The hooter goes, and that is the end of the action. And what a game it has been. It was 2-1 at the end of the first quarter in favour of Wasps, with a goal from Trent Mitten in the final minute. And then at half-time, they'd taken a 4-goal lead, were leading by 6-1, and Trent Mitten had 5 goals. And then 2 goals in the third quarter from Sampson, his second, and Pearce took it out to 8-1. And then Trent Mitten with another 3 in the final quarter saw him end up with 8 for the match, which we believe is a record that has stood since 1977. Norton scoring a second consolation goal for Old Guildford right at the death. But a final score here of Wasps 11, Old Guildford Mundaring 2.